Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Gridiron Gals podcast. I'm your girl, Rita, the NFL chick.
And hey, everybody, it's Chelsea, aka Chelsea's Right.
And we are underway for week 5 of the NFL season and week 6 of college football season. So we're halfway through almost from college football season. I hate that time is flying, and we're over a quarter away. Over a quarter in for NFL season. So time is just really flying, dog. It is crazy to me how fast it's going. And of course, there is always things going on in the NFL. So let's start with the Miami Dolphins, who got skull dragged by the Buffalo Bills. A Dolphin got drowned by a bill this past weekend.
By a bill. Hey, girl, what's your extra problem?
By a Buffalo Bill. A Buffalo Bill drowned a Dolphin, child. Who knew that they could do it like that? After tearing up the Denver Broncos for 70 points, they get, again, skull dragged by the Bills. Now, I don't know how people view this, because I do think that divisional games are harder to really place where how it will go, because the opponents know each other so well. And, the matchups are normal. They play each other twice a year. And so a lot of the nucleus of what Miami has now is what they had last year, as well as Buffalo. So I don't know if this is just, Buffalo gave other teams the blueprint on how to beat the Dolphins, or is this just this is a divisional game. We know them. We know what their weaknesses already were. We just attack those things.
I think it's that. I know that division opponents definitely play each other a little bit different. And we saw that also with the Commanders and Eagles game. I mean, that went into overtime, and that's not something we really expect.
And remember, the Commanders won last year as well. That was their first loss
last year. And they whatever. But I don't know if the Dolphins ran out of gas or something. I don't know. They should have brought some of them points over with them, because it wasn't looking good. Y'all, it was not looking good. But you get a little bit more grace when it's a division opponent.
Yeah.
But also you lost by 28 points, so that's crazy.
Come on, Josh Allen has played really well after that debacle. On Monday night in week 1, he has played really well. I believe he had 4 touchdowns against the Dolphins. 3 of them were to Stephon Diggs. So you knew where the ball was going, and yet you couldn't stop from winning. Don't understand how that worked. So it looks like as of right now, because look, every week things change, right? The Dolphins were the Cinderellas of the NFL in terms of the AFC. Because as of right now, all of the AFC teams have a loss. The only undefeated teams currently are the 49ers and the Eagles in the NFC. So I think now the Bills are going to be talked about as the new Cinderella story for the AFC this week or until the Bills somehow lose a game. So, Dolphins, you gotta, like Chelsea, you gotta bring some of them points from that Broncos game over to help you out a little bit.
Gotta carry the one. You gotta carry the one.
Gotta carry the fucking one. Okay, so the Jets came close to beating the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Zach Wilson definitely did better than I think many of us expected. It reminded me of a game, Charles, back in 2007. Yes, I'm telling my age. When the Patriots was playing the Ravens and Kyle Bowler was the quarterback, and this was their undefeated season, and they were this close. They were a false start away from winning that game. And because false starts are pre-snap penalties, you can't decline the penalty. So they had to let them play, and then they scored a go-ahead touchdown with seconds left to win the game. So it was it reminded me of that type of environment where no one really gave you a chance, and then you stepped up and you played more well, then I think people thought you could play in Zach Wilson, not necessarily the Jets.
Yes.
But obviously, the big conversation about that game, though, was like the referees. They were terrible. And I'm not talking about the holding call necessarily on Sauce Gardner, because I do think that was a hold. But when the flag was thrown is the issue, right? And so that was the concern. There was a horse collar that was not a horse collar that they called against the Chiefs. There was a safety that many people was questioning, and then of course the hold against that wasn't called against the Chiefs, in which Patrick Mahomes had a big play, which essentially led to them to go ahead. So that was an interesting game.
That hold was egregious.
Yeah, and
ridiculous.
And so here's the thing, Charles. I saw a lot of people having a conversation about this, and people were like, "You don't know the rules," and so that's not true, because you can go up under their pads on their shoulders. That's not illegal. The problem is the man had a whole fistful of jersey in his hand. That is not legal. I don't care where you're placing your hands. You're not supposed to do that. And I saw the man grabbing the jersey part under the pad the entire time, to the point
he had it around his hand and
he wrapped it to the point where the Chiefs guy is trying to slap him, and really that probably is a hands to the face penalty in retaliation to the fact that he's being held so bad. It was crazy.
So yeah, I was impressed by Zach Wilson. I mean, I think the pile on him was getting to be like a lot. Like it was just like, okay, he's the
whipping. Was that his own fault though?
Oh, a lot of it is his own fault, because last year he did not want to take accountability for any of the losses, and that does not bode well. And people were just like, "Oh, you're a little brat." But this game, he came out. He played very well. It was a very close game. And he took accountability for the shortcomings, even though it may not have been him. It may really, I mean, when you see a close game like that, then you can talk about penalties and the little things that can matter when you talk about a game that has a differential of 3 points. But he was much more mature, took accountability. You know, it's on me, it's on me. And that's what people want to hear, whether it's true or not.
Absolutely. Guess the stat line. Guess who this is. 18 completions, 30 attempts, 60% completion, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, quarterback rating 63.6.
Patrick Mahomes.
But would you expect that to be Patrick Mahomes or Zach Wilson?
Hey,
meanwhile,
because I watched the game.
Meanwhile, Zach Wilson completed 71, really, if you average it, because it's 71.8. So 72% of his passes with 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 105.2. So one of them was Patrick Mahomes, but it wasn't Patrick Mahomes that night. And your girl, Taylor Swift, was out there, and they showed Taylor Swift to the point where why are we even showing? Like, I thought y'all was only going to show her when Travis Kelce did something. So then Travis Kelce wasn't doing anything because he didn't have like a great night. So then they just randomly started showing her just because they wanted to show her. And that motherfucking tie. I don't give a fuck about Taylor Swift.
Yo, the NFL is the biggest attention whore there ever was. It is all about attention. They are eating it up. But I don't know. I let you do the stats and stuff. Didn't the ratings for this game drop compared to the last game?
No, I think it was still the most watched game.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I thought the ratings dropped, but I mean, like, and there were others like Blake Lively was there. Listen, celebrities go to football games all the time. They are in the owner suites all the time. And okay, so I recognize the stardom of Taylor Swift. Like, I know, but like, y'all, come on, Zach Wilson was having a great game. We can't talk about that. Like, oh my God, it is so nauseating. But I'll tell you this, I think Taylor Swift would have found out something different if the Jets had won that game. Football fans, we are also the most superstitious, and people would have blamed that on her. And baby, them Swifties can't fight these football fans. These people will eat each other. You cannot fight no football fans. They will eat each other. So you are nothing.
Very true. They would have been like, no more away games for Taylor Swift. She can't come any more away games. That definitely would have happened. So
it would have been bad.
That is definitely something that could have happened. All right, on Shannon Sharp's podcast called Club Shay Shay, he talks with our guy Beast Mode, Marshawn Lynch, and they have a conversation about the Seahawks and Russell Wilson. First of all, you got to listen to this interview because it's hilarious. Because one of the things that he said that it was very relatable to me, Chels, was when he talked about laughing at Pete Carroll when the interception happened at the goal line in the Super Bowl. Now, it stopped him from winning another ring, but he felt like he was so right that he had to go and laugh in the face of the guy who made a fucking terrible decision in that moment. So, also that was discussed in that was, of course, Russell Wilson. And apparently they didn't have each other's number. And so he wanted to talk to Russell. And Russell called him, Marshawn, from a blocked number to talk. And, he was saying that, he told him it was a specific game where Marshawn had a better game than, I guess Russell wanted to have a good game, but Marshawn had a better game. And he basically, I'm paraphrasing, but he was just basically like, we in this together. When I'm slacking, you pick up my slack, and vice versa. And basically Russell Wilson wasn't trying to hear that. He said it twice, and Russell Wilson both times was like, the fuck? Like, I mean, he wasn't trying to hear that shit, basically. And to the point where if you wanted to talk to Russ, you had to talk to him through Pete Carroll. I mean, it was a lot of things that was said. And he did the best that he could without, like, straight up trying to shit on Russell Wilson. But the stories that he had just weren't flattering stories about Russell Wilson. So I want to talk about this because, like, Russell Wilson gets a lot of flack, and I think that these are two different entities, right? Russell Wilson, we talk about when it comes to his relationship with Sierra and the whole future thing, and then Russell Wilson, the player. And I think that those two things can be different, right? How Future views Russell Wilson, to me, is irrelevant, because at the end of the day, he takes care of his child that he doesn't take care of often, and that Sierra had to laugh at when they talked about, joint custody, child co-parenting, whatever. There's that. But then Russell Wilson, the player, I think is definitely probably an asshole, and that's probably why not many guys came to his birthday party last year, and why his time at Seattle ended the way that it did. So when you heard these stories, what did you take from them about your guy, Richmond native Russell Wilson?
I'm so glad that you said Richmond Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson went to a school called Collegiate High School in Richmond, Virginia. And it is a private, not Catholic, but private, very expensive, very elite high school. And so and he probably was one of, like, I know our good friend Tavia went to collegiate, but I know she's probably, her and Russell Wilson are the only Black people I know that went to collegiate. There are other Black people, but like that is the landscape. But the difference for him is that he went to that school and he was a standout athlete, and you are away from everybody else. He's probably been like this his whole life. He's probably extremely socially awkward. Like, when you have been a star, you've been a star your whole life. You've been the center of attention your whole life. And I think he's socially awkward. And I think that he most certainly does not know how to interact with someone like Marshawn Lynch.
And I don't think you mean that in a bad way in terms of Marshawn Lynch, right?
Oh, no. I mean it in a way as, so demographically, and people from Richmond know what I'm talking about. Like, collegiate is Richmond, but it is way, 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 way out in the county, right? So, like, he ain't no Marshawn Lynch's out there.
Okay.
Ain't no Marshawn Lynch's out there.
Which is Oakland, Marshawn Lynch is Oakland.
He's not in Richmond City. If he went to Richmond City schools, we talking about a different a very, 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 very different thing here. So I'm just saying that when I see him, this is what I see. I see the collegiate kid. I see that collegiate kid. I see somebody that's a star their whole life, whatever. But I also see somebody that is socially awkward, a little bit dorky, and Marshawn Lynch might be just too much for him. But also, I don't think it's just Marshawn Lynch. I think that he probably has a problem with the connections, period. Because and which is crazy because like it's a lot of black dudes in the NFL. Like you don't know how to, you ain't got like you don't have no solid person. Like it's probably people that think he's cool. It's probably people that he's more comfortable with. But like it's a lot of Marshawn Lynches in the NFL. So like it's and that's why we love Marshawn Lynch so much because we all know him.
We got a cousin like him. We got a friend like him. A kid that we went to school like him, and maybe
my brother is like Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, and so apparently the thing was like our good friend Doug Farrer that works at USA Today. One of the things that he said, and because he covered the Seahawks during the Legion of Boom in those times, and he was just like, Marshawn was literally the guy in the locker room that everybody connected with. So the fact that they couldn't connect obviously is not a Marshawn Lynch
absolutely
problem.
And that is what we mean when we say that we know him, like that guy that everybody just likes him. So everybody knows, and that's why we are so endeared to him. And people are not as endeared to Russell Wilson in that way. We protect him, we take up for him, and we ain't gonna let no folks go for him, but we're not as endeared to Russell Wilson as we are to someone like, Marshawn Lynch is a sweetheart. Like he is the sweetheart, in the way that like everybody loves him. And he's just so authentic and he is himself. I don't think that Russell Wilson is showing us himself.
Like Russell Wilson, the cornball, I'm willing to defend that because being corny don't do nothing to me. It don't hurt nobody. Look, Sierra likes it, so I love it, and he's apparently a good father to her son. I don't have a problem with Russell Wilson, the cornball. Russell Wilson, the non-communicator / potential asshole. All right, now you gotta kind of get your shit together. You know what I'm saying? So definitely check that out. It was on Club Shay Shay. Marshawn Lynch is just a national treasure, dog. We just gotta protect him.
I will not answer Marshawn Lynch.
You call from a black number? You don't want beast mode to have your number?
She told me to call him. I'm FaceTiming him. What up?
Unreal. Unfucking real that you felt the need to do that. That is insane at this point. Your boy, back to the New York Jets, your boy, Aaron Rodgers. I am so fucking tired of Aaron Rodgers.
He ain't gonna leave us alone.
He's not gonna leave us alone. First, he wants to, be fake patriotic, coming out there on September 11th. Now he wants to tell us that he's going to he's going to have a bionic Achilles at his old ass age and try to come back and play at the end of the season. Then he goes on Pat McAfee's show and talks about Travis Kelce. He calls him Mr. Pfizer. They did talk because he was at the game and they were talking on the sidelines. And I'm assuming he's referring to Travis Kelce, I believe, was in a commercial for vaccines. Saying this as the quarterback of the New York Jets, who is owned by Woody Johnson. Oh, that Johnson of Johnson and Johnson, who created a vaccine for COVID. So at this point, Aaron Rodgers is just talking to talk, but I'm fucking tired of him, and I'm fucking tired of Pat McAfee giving him a platform. I'm tired.
Yeah, enough is enough. And I'm wondering, can he fight? Because he can say something about somebody gonna punch him in his face. He ain't got to worry about that Achilles injury. Like, why would you call that man Mr. Pfizer?
Did you say that to his face when you was all up talking to him and kissing his ass on Sunday night?
Right. Yeah, he Mr. Pfizer, he's the safest person for you to be talking to while you're in recovery. But like, why are you bothering people? Why are people that are unvaccinated so worried about people who are vaccinated or who are telling other people to be vaccinated? Nobody is putting a jab in your arm. Nobody is doing any of that. Like that kind of stuff. And you're right. Even Pat McAfee, and I like him a lot. I like Pat McAfee.
Too.
I think he's good for the sport. I think
he's good
campaigning and stuff like that. But he is the big time fangirl for Aaron Rodgers.
He is, and it's annoying.
I know he is a regular on the show, and he has, helped in a lot of ways to make that show what it is. But man, you got to start checking these people like that. Even if it's like, hey man, let him do what he do. He ain't bothering nobody. He's not bothering. Travis Kelce is not bothering nobody being in that commercial. And personally, I think it's very important to see someone like Travis Kelce in a commercial like that, supporting things like that, because we have lost millions and millions and millions of Americans to COVID, and the shit is back.
Yep.
And it's going around and whatever. So what they were promoting is the vaccine with everything. So you can get COVID, flu, put it in my jab me up. I don't care. Load me up. If I start glowing, that's fine. I've always wanted to glow.
Why we didn't glow yesterday when the phones went off? So the phones went off. Y'all said that the people who was vaccinated was going to turn into zombies. I still feel normal.
I ain't tried to eat nobody, so I have been missing out on all of my superpowers, and I'm supposed to be getting vaccinated, and the metal in the mask and all of this kind of stuff. But like, everyone just needs to go, please go home and be a family man or whatever is at home, and do your ivermectin and stuff. Leave everybody else alone. We don't need to hear from you so much. We don't usually hear from players when they get injured and they're going away. And they're healing and they're not in the season. We don't usually hear from them. What you got so much to talk about for?
Aaron Rodgers is an attention whore. He's also a person that probably doesn't have a lot of friends. He's been in multiple failed relationships. I'm sure he has character flaws. He
called Russell Wilson.
I'm just saying,
they be like Amos and Andy.
Amos and Andy, you out here doing hallucinogen drugs for whatever it is that you need to do it for. Then you out here, making jokes with people who take vaccinations, but then you take horse manure. I don't understand the logic behind any of it. He's a permanent resident of the volcano. We don't even have to put him back in there for something else that he's done. We are going to permanently put Aaron Rodgers in the volcano because he's a fucking clown, and we want him to just go off into the sunset and do his drugs in peace and leave us the fuck alone.
Leave us alone.
That's all I'm saying. I would like to be left alone. So with that said, it is week 5 of the NFL. Yeah. I don't know where that came from, but
the fact that I didn't react to it just tells me how used to you I am. You sitting over there singing, and I'm just like, let me pull up the.
So I'm
what I deal with all the time, y'all.
I'm gonna skip past the Thursday night game because by the time this is played, it will have been played. And plus the Commanders is probably gonna win that game anyway. So there's that 9:30 game on Sunday. We got the Jaguars and the Bills. Should be an interesting matchup. Who you got?
This should be interesting, but I'm gonna go with the Bills, and they're in London again, right? So the Jags they just gonna spend the night. They just been spending the night in London.
I am going with the Jags because they've already been there. They already there. They don't have to adjust to the time. They play very typically well in London because that's where they do. They play in London. They're going to be at Tottenham this time. So there's that. Texans and Falcons. Texans something.
D'Amico doing a little something down there. D'Amico doing a little something down there, ain't he?
Doing a little something. Meanwhile, Desmond Ritter.
Oh, baby.
Falcons is actually 1.5 point favorites. Where you going with this?
Oh, I'm going with the Texans, and I don't know what the hell Vegas is talking about.
I'm going with the Texans too. I feel like that they're the hot hand right now. Panthers at Lions. Lions are 10-point favorites.
The shade. I'm going with the Lions though.
All right. Titans at Colts. I'm picking the Lions as well, by the way. Titans at Colts. This is interesting.
The Titans leave much to be desired too. They're at the Colts. I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Colts since they're at home.
All right, so I was gonna pick the Colts. You pick the Titans, so I'll pick the Titans because I was gonna pick the Colts. So we'll go ahead and do that. Ravens at Steelers. It is Steelers week, and I am glad as hell that I was wrong about last week. We'll see how it goes this week.
I don't know what the Steelers have offensively. I'm going to go with the Ravens.
I don't know either, and I think that their tight end is going to be out, and whether Kenny Pickett plays or not, I mean, he's not 100% healthy, and then you got Mitch Trubisky. I just don't know what to think about that. Giants at Dolphins. Dolphins a 12.5-point favorite.
Dolphins are not going to get beat twice.
The Giants give me nothing on offense. Nothing. Is Saquon coming back?
I don't know. I have not heard.
Okay. Well, either way, I wasn't picking them. It determined for me how bad they was going to lose. But not. Saints at Patriots.
Hey, the Patriots stink, but I think Saints at Patriots. I'm going to go with the Saints. The Patriots, they've lost. I think Judon is out. They lost Christian Gonzalez, and they have Mac Jones at quarterback.
You're right. And I really don't want to do this, but I do feel like they play a little bit better at home. I'm going to go with the Patriots. But you're right, by the way. You're absolutely right. So, Eagles at Rams. Interesting matchup here. You think the Rams can give the Eagles their first loss?
Hey, Sean McVay is on my Sean McVay is on my untrustworthy list.
Okay.
But I'm gonna pick the Rams. Something is giving me something. I don't know.
I feel the Rams in my spirit too for some reason. Like I don't know what it is. Like Philly still feels like they're trying to figure some things out. I don't know,
and they take a long time in the beginning to do it. Like they are a lot like they are a second half team, and they take a little while to gel in the beginning. And depending on the team, you may not be able to do that, Yeah. So I think Rams in a very, very close one, like very close.
I agree with that. Bengals at Cardinals. I'm gonna tell you now, I'm probably gonna go with the Cardinals because as long as Joe Burrow is still quarterback and he can't move around, I just don't know how this is gonna work.
Yeah, I agree. I'll go with the Cardinals on that too. Look at
Jets at Broncos.
Do I want to watch that game?
No.
Okay. I'll go with the Broncos.
Yeah, I only go with the Broncos because they're at home. But I mean, no real reason. Chiefs at Vikings.
Oh, I'm going with the Chiefs. The Vikings got some issues going on.
Yeah, their line still stinks. So there's that. I'm going with the Chiefs too. Cowboys at 49ers. Well, we know Charles is not picking. Well, she's picking her Cowboys.
I don't pick against the Cowboys. That's bad juju. But they've been talking about this game all damn week. Well, I'd rather them talk about this than talk about that singing lady. But somebody asked me where was I watching the game. I said under my bed. Under my bed, like I am not looking forward to Sunday night.
I think that this is going to be a good game, a close game. I go back and forth with who I want to pick because I do think that the Cowboys have the necessary tools to keep up with the 49ers. But as of right now, the 49ers are playing mistake-free ball. So I'm going to go with them because they're at home, but I don't feel comfortable with saying that. Like, I think that the Cowboys could absolutely pull an upset. And I definitely think that this could potentially be a 3-point game, if that makes sense. And they only favored by 3.5. So.
I can agree with that. I mean, even with the one loss that the Cowboys do have, it was probably the most penalties. The penalties did it more than anything, And if you are playing penalty-free football, you can coast.
Right. So yeah, if they can make the mistakes go, then this could potentially be their way. Monday Night Football, Packers and Raiders. When did we get to a point where we're just like the Raiders and Packers? And I mean, I like
we are crackheads and we watch bad football, good football. We watch all of it. Like that game stinks so bad. I'm gonna go with the Packers. But like y'all are not putting good products on TV.
I think I'm gonna go with the Raiders. Don't ask me why. I'm just gonna do it. Don't ask me why. I'm just and look, Vegas has it basically even. The Raiders are 1-point favorites, so it's a push basically at that point. Moving on to college football. Yes, we have to talk about this because it happened. And you know, whatever. USC squeaks out a win against Colorado. I think Colorado scored, is it 21 or 28 unanswered points? Something to that regard. But in the fourth quarter, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So USC dominated that game, and then eventually they started playing with their food. And so what I saw was a lot of people saying, well, what would have happened if they had if this person was in and this person was in and this person was in? And first and foremost, people get injured all the time. So you can't do the what ifs. But if you want to play that game, I don't necessarily think that it would have been much of a different outcome. And I say that because, Charles, again, I felt like USC got cute and wanted to start playing with their food. I think they tried to convert a fourth down within their territory, like not
close like, enough. It was close.
It was like right before midfield. Where they tried to convert a first down instead of punting, and then they didn't get the first down, and they made some decisions that I felt like they thought that Colorado was babies, that they was little boys, and it ended up biting them in the ass, in the long run. But ultimately, if Lincoln Riley respected the program and their players more, I don't think that they would have. I think that there would have been some decisions that would have gone differently. I don't think that he's going to make some of those same decisions against a team like Washington or Utah, you know what I'm saying, or Oklahoma State, something like that, Oregon. So that's my opinion on that. I think that the USC still wins, but I had our guy Felder in the bleachers on my radio show, and we talked about this. I was like, whoever got the ball last is going to end up winning this football game, because as we know, they can score, Colorado. Yeah. It's just USC can score more, and that's basically how this ended.
Yeah, this was a case of, Lincoln Riley, he's smarter than every goddamn body.
Yep, and you know how those types of people are.
He's smart, and that's what, when I saw, because it started when Caleb threw an interception, and that's when the point started, right? And I was like, nah, they scored off this. Nah, they're going to get it back and score. I said, you're smarter than every damn body. You don't have the defense to play with your food. And he, even at the end of the game, when they asked him the question, he said, it's a good thing we were already up by so much. Oh, you think?
You think?
Stop.
The problem that I had with Lincoln Riley is that he has no intention of bolstering that defense. And that's why USC is not going to be in serious contention conversations, because as good as they are on offense, they can't stop a fucking nosebleed over there on defense. No,
and I think they were doing a good job in the beginning.
Yes,
they were, and I think Colorado was definitely caught off balance. But once Shedeur got that second win, baby, it was getting ready to go another way. Yeah, we talking about an onside kick away.
An onside kick away from winning the game that you started out, I think 28-7 at one point. So that's crazy to me. And I think now you have to look, Colorado was running the ball. They ain't been able to do that all year long.
I said, when did they start running the ball? But then that made me look at USC. When are y'all going to start running the ball? Dumb. You need to run smarter than everybody, but not smart enough to run that ball, so you can run some of that clock down.
I completely agree. So
now, speaking of that, somebody was wearing Andy Reid mask out there with that clock management on Colorado and stuff.
For Colorado.
And it's so funny when we at home are saying the same thing as the commentators are saying.
Yep.
Like, hey, don't you think you might want to run that ball? I mean, you think you might want to pass? Why are you running? Hey, the clock. Hey, the clock. I was like, these people can't hear us. That clock. And they kept going, run play. And I was like, y'all are down 2 scores, not 1 score. Like I could see you were down 1 score and you were so confident that you were going to score, tie this thing up, possibly go for 2 and get it, or possibly send it into overtime. But y'all were down 2 scores, which means you not only have to score, but you got to kick an onside kick, get the ball back, score again, and you have no timeouts.
None. You had none. So that's why the onside kick.
Crack cocaine. Stop the ball. What you doing? Yo, I just watched it dwindle down and I'm like, yo, the clock is just going. You down 2 scores. So come on, y'all. But that's why I said Andy Reid is out there in a
Andy Reid was out there watching. He's probably watching the game like, like me out there.
Woo, okay. That's one of my methods right there. So
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. So that it was. I mean, it ended up. It was a good game, and it showed that Colorado can hang in there. And it showed that you can't just think that like USC is not Oregon. Oregon can tinker around and play with their food because they bad enough to do it. Y'all can't do it, Lincoln Riley, and you almost got embarrassed.
I completely agree with that. So let's stay with the Pac-12. So, Washington is just been a phenomenal program this year and led by Michael Penix Jr. Mm-hmm. And I do feel like that there's not enough conversation going about Washington. And I think that the biggest reason is obvious, right? Pac-12 comes on late. People aren't able to see what they do. So people are there's an East Coast bias thing going on here where you're only able to say, Caleb Williams, but Caleb Williams has been talked about for a while. So it's easy to jump on the Caleb Williams bandwagon.
Yeah.
But Penix, I absolutely think is a Heisman candidate, and Washington is one of the top programs, and yet we're just not having enough conversations about it, and it's very weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, how long have we been trying to sell people on the Pac-12?
Forever.
We are exhausted to the point where now we won't even. This is our last year enjoying the Pac-12. Mm-hmm. Washington there are a lot of good football teams in the Pac-12. Washington has an excellent, like you said, a very complete team on all sides of the ball. They are going to be very fun to watch. That Washington-Oregon game, bay. It's going to
be. They play October the 14th. They are on a bye this week.
Yep.
But they play next week at 3:30. Okay.
So you don't have to take no nap.
Don't have to take a nap. This is going to be one of the premier games that week. If you haven't watched Washington before because it's late, this is the opportunity to see how good they are and how total of a team they are and how good they play against teams like Oregon. Washington is currently 7th. Oregon is currently 8th. So they're right behind each other. And that just shows and Pac-12 games coming on earlier, that's definitely fun. Yes.
But guess what? If that game came on at 10:30, guess who will be up the whole goddamn night watching it?
Me. Hey, that's the game I'm watching that night. And if it's over at 2:30, then that's what time it's fucking over. I'm watching it.
That's what time I go to bed. That game. And for folks that are just coming to college football, if you have come in on the prime train and you kind of trying to take your exit off the train now, whatever, stick around and watch what it really looks like. And then you will see why y'all was the only one shocked at what Oregon did to Colorado, because they that bad. And that game is going to be so good.
It is. It is.
That game is going to be amazing. So y'all need to be on time for that.
I definitely am going to make sure I am very well somewhere close to a TV. October 14th at 3:30, because that game is going to be phenomenal. Over to the SEC, LSU baby has lost 2 games. One to Florida State in week 1 badly, and then they lost last week to Ole Miss, of all things. And so, Brian Kelly was supposed to be the guy that was supposed to bring this, this program back to its prominence. And as of right now, they look like they got a little bit of holes there, Chell.
Y'all better go get Ed Orgeron and tell him come on back up in here. That Ole Miss from this week, from last week and the week before, look completely different. Look completely different. And I mean, it was a good game. They were hanging in there, but when it gets, I just think that when games get to like really, really close like that and going back, now it comes to the battle of the coaches. It's just the battle of coaching when y'all are just trading touchdowns. A very high scoring game for SEC, high scoring game for SEC teams anyway.
Yeah.
But that's when you start to get like who's being out coached.
Yeah.
And at the end, when it's the battle of the coaches down to the wire, Lane Kiffin came out on top, and LSU fans and LSU, faithful need to start questioning Brian Kelly's leadership. Brian Kelly came out the gate making a lot of promises and coming in off the fame of his name, but he's not delivering. And those people at LSU, they want to go all the way to the top. They want championships. Like they're not satisfied with bowl games down there. They want to go all the way to the top. They had that Joe Burrow. They want that Joe Burrow back. They want that Joe Burrow pack back.
They want that Joe Burrow pack back, baby.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, y'all.
Yeah, LSU fans ain't gonna stand for that too much longer. So that's definitely going to be interesting. A couple of games that are good this Saturday. Now, speaking of LSU, they play Mizzou, who Mizzou is actually ranked 21st over LSU ranked 23rd. So, Mizzou is 5-0. Who knew what was going on? Although LSU is favored, I don't know why, but there's that. A game I want people to put on their calendar to pay attention to. Maryland plays Ohio State. Now, Maryland is not ranked, although they are 5-0, headed by Coach Mike Locksley, who is very black, and his coaching staff as well. So,
is Snoop Dogg gonna be at the game?
No, he's not gonna be there. But he is doing really good things. Now, I don't know if this might be his first loss. I don't know. Ohio State to me is an interesting team. And so remember Tua's brother, Talia.
I think it's like Talia.
His brother is the quarterback for Maryland. So that's a game that you should check out. It is Charles Red River Rival Weekend in Dallas as Oklahoma and Texas will square off. Now, this is interesting because Oklahoma is 12 and Texas is 3rd, but we've seen it be Oklahoma was, ranked high, and then Texas found a way to like ruin the party. So I'm curious to know now if it's Oklahoma's turn to ruin the Texas party.
Yeah. We're going to see. That's a 12 o'clock game too, pretty early.
Yeah, it usually is. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 12 o'clock game. So that's going to be interesting. There's another one here, Kentucky at Georgia. Now, I had the opportunity to see Kentucky last week. They have a transfer meaning Kentucky, that is at running back that is very, very good. And he put a clinic on the Florida Gators last week. So, I say that because Georgia been toting the line here.
Hey, they've been dragging their toes.
Hey, baby.
They played around with Auburn. Played around with Auburn.
I think that Kentucky is better than Auburn. And so
Okay.
this will be interesting. This is a 7 p.m. game. I think you should watch. They have Georgia as 14.5 favorites. I don't know why Georgia keep getting these big favorites. They not. I feel like they're not covering. I could be wrong here, but they definitely didn't cover last week.
No, they didn't cover last week. They won by a touchdown.
So I'm just trying to understand why y'all keep doing this, because they've been dragging their feet. They played a couple weeks ago. Was it UAB a couple weeks ago? And dragged their feet with them. Was like letting them put up 21, 28 points. I'm just confused here. That's all I'm saying. I don't know why y'all keep giving Georgia all these big ones. Notre Dame and Louisville. Notre Dame is ranked 10th. Louisville is also undefeated at 5-0. They are playing as well. That should be a good game.
So what we're saying is we are in the thick of it, y'all. We are in the thick of college football, where you just ride this out. Like, don't be like, I wonder if it's any good games on. No. Which good games am I going to watch this weekend?
That's it, because it's a whole bunch of them.
That's where we are.
It's a whole bunch of good games that will be on this weekend. You have your pick of the litter from 12 to 3:30 to 7 p.m. So I don't see anything that's on like the late slates that I would be interested in. Oregon State plays Cal. I'm not interested in Cal. And then USC plays Arizona. I'm not interested in Arizona. So, you know, you can watch Oregon State. I believe the quarterback from Clemson from last year is the Oregon State's quarterback now. So, because they're only 9.5 favorites. So I think that they think this game will be closer than what it is. But I'm going to be watching football so much that I'm not sure I can stay up at 10 o'clock for a 10 o'clock start for this. So those are the premier games of college football this week. Charles, who would you like to put in the volcano?
Child, a meme went around, and it went around on Twitter, and then people that know how I feel have texted to me 1,000 times with this black man in a t-shirt that said HBCU with Colorado Buffaloes on it, and said it was an HBCU state of mind.
Yes, he did.
Now,
and then did you figure out where he came from?
I did. Okay. So I saw, now the shirt, listen, I want, when they start banning y'all from having podcast mics, I want them to ban the crickets and the street t-shirt screen makers thing. I want all of it to be banned. Like they banning these books. You want to ban these books, ban these screen printers and whatever the thing's called. But so the design was, I thought the design was dope. I thought it was actually very creative how they added like HB and then CU, Colorado Buffs, whatever. But I want you to get the fuck out of my face. There is no HBCU state of mind. It either is or it isn't. You either went or you didn't. It is either a historically black college or it is not a historically black college. Period. There is no creating the experience. There is no we just like. No, you're not. And also, it's a slap in the face and it's disrespectful because you are associating, the only thing that you are focusing on when it comes to black colleges are like the fun stuff. You know, the bands, the swag, how cool we are, blah, 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 blah. And that is what you see now. You know, you go to Boulder, Colorado, it's not black. The school is not a lot of black people unless they're playing football. The blackest thing at CU is Deion Sanders. Please get out of my face. Now, I didn't find out because I said, ain't no way in the world this brother went to an HBCU because people that went to HBCUs know better. Well, egg on my face. This brother went to Johnson C. Smith University in North Carolina. I know a lot of good, very intelligent, smart people that went to Johnson C. Smith. That is not one of them. So for that, dear friend, now that you have gone around and you have pissed off the whole HBCU family, you must go into the volcano.
My least favorite thing about all of this is that y'all keep trying to say, oh, it's like, HBCU culture going to Boulder, but Dion has been on record of saying he don't even like using the word culture. And he kept saying, that's all they kept saying at Jackson State. That's all they kept saying, culture, culture, culture. Well, the guy that y'all are supporting doesn't even like that word. He doesn't even like y'all incorporating that into what it is that he's doing. So stop doing it. Stop forcing yourself to do it. So I just don't understand the logic behind y'all keep saying that when he doesn't even subscribe to that word or what it means. It just doesn't make sense to me.
No, because culture means a group of people, community, common things. Dion ain't gonna relate to that because Dion is like, unless it's about me, I don't know what we're talking about here. So like, yeah, but I thought it was very, very corny, and enjoy the volcano.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I'm putting the NFL in the volcano. The
whole NFL.
The whole NFL. Put the whole NFL, particularly their PR media department in the volcano. It was said that they are promoting Taylor Swift's movie for free. They are all in on this whole Taylor Swift thing. I am annoyed by this. They changed their IG page to Swifties or something. I unfollowed them after that. I'm not here for that. I understand that cultures mix all the time, and sports culture and pop culture always mix. We just talked about Colorado and like how they have guys come, to the stadium and stuff. It's not something that we're not familiar with, but this is too far. You've gone too far. Giving this girl free promo that she doesn't need. She doesn't need free promotion. They're talking about they're trying to get her to do a Super Bowl in the future. Well, we'll worry about that later.
Ask everybody else.
Well, we'll worry about her doing that later because as of right now, Usher's doing the 2024 Super Bowl, okay? And that's what we care about. Give Usher free the Usher ring, okay? So I am annoyed by the fact that y'all are all in with this whole thing. It almost feels orchestrated at this point that they got these two together just so they can have this girl come in and infiltrate. And it's sad because I don't really have I am indifferent about Taylor Swift. I don't listen to her music. It doesn't do anything for me. But I never thought that I've never felt like, oh, I don't like Taylor Swift. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I've never felt that way about her. But y'all are making me not like her. And it's not her fault. Like, it's you, the people, the fans, the NFL, everybody else involved with this whole Swiftie Kelce thing. Y'all are making me dislike this girl the same way the Colorado fans are making me dislike the Buffaloes. And I don't want to do that because I'm rooting for kids and I have to keep myself understanding that. But y'all are annoying as fuck. You Swifties and Kelces and NFLs, y'all are making me dislike this girl who's done nothing to me. Nothing to me. She's, for the most part, appeared to be pretty, liberal in terms of and progressive when it comes to certain things. Yes, I know she dated a racist, whatever. I'm just saying that potentially she had been coming off before as being on the right side of many issues, right? And y'all are making me dislike this girl. And it's not even about, she ain't even saying nothing. It's y'all. So I want the NFL to put their ass in the fucking volcano because that girl, y'all trying to beg this girl. You're supposed to be one of the top entities in the world. Fuck the United States, the world. And you're begging, y'all's on y'all knees, okay? Sucking nuts that don't exist. Because she ain't got none. She a girl. To try to get this girl to do your Super Bowl show. Have some couth. Stand up.
Stand up, y'all. Where is your dignity?
Where is your dignity? Have some dignity.
Where is your dignity? Lord have mercy.
Annoying.
The volcano is full, friend. The volcano is
the volcano. Every week we're gonna put somebody
y'all
up in
is annoying. Y'all is very, very annoying. And I feel the same way. I think she's an amazing songwriter. And like I said, I listened to some of her songs, but I've never listened to like her albums and stuff like that. But I don't got no issue with Taylor Swift. I absolutely defended her when Kanye West got up on that stage and stole her moment, and he acted like a fool, and everybody was like, "Oh, he made her popular." And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" Like, I completely defended her there. But now, every time I see her cheering and happy, I get annoyed. I'm like, why are you happy?
Because why do we need to see her? Does she even know what's going on? Does she even have an understanding of what she's watching? Like, I don't care. I don't care about Taylor Swift celebrating. I don't.
Yo.
I've had enough. NFL, get in the volcano. In the volcano. Before we go, do you have any final thoughts, friend?
I'm sorry, I'm still laughing at you. Crazy. I do have a final thought. So I wanted to send my thoughts and love and energy to you and all of the other Morgan State alumni who are not able to celebrate their homecoming and activities this week because of an unfortunate shooting on their campus. And they have to make sure the students are safe. They have to make sure that the people in the community are safe, and that the people who would wanted to travel to Baltimore to homecomings, homecomings bring in a lot of people. Yeah. And I saw a lot of people changing their plans and stuff like that. But I also saw the love from all the Morgan State Bears out there, and everybody's wearing their colors and still showing support. So from one HBCU or one or two HBCUs to another, we are sharing in the love. We have to protect our schools. Everybody should be able to go to school and not fear violence, whether you are in preschool, elementary school, middle, high school, college. Everybody should be able to go to a place to learn and be safe. And it is very unfortunate. It is a financial hit for the city when you are not able to host homecoming. You think of all of the preparation that goes into homecoming. People start preparing for homecoming at the end of that homecoming one year. They start preparing for the next year. There's a lot involved behind the scenes, not just the tailgate, not just the band, and not just the game. There's a lot that goes into homecomings for historically Black colleges. It is one of the biggest fundraising that we do, and we need to do more. And now people are not coming into the city. People won't be going to the restaurants and hotels and all of this kind of stuff because of this very senseless violence. So I know Morgan State is going to bounce back because that's what we do, right? We do. I know they're going to bounce back, and I know homecoming next year is going to be even better, but just sending my love and thoughts that way.
That's a great thing to say in terms of your final thoughts. Although I did not graduate from Morgan State, I did go to Morgan State my freshman year, and I am actually from the community of Morgan. My parents actually still live in that community. Mm-hmm. So it is definitely something that hits home to me, not just as a person that did attend and went on that campus before, but as a person who's been a lifelong resident, because I lived across the street from Morgan when I was born. And then when we were 4, we moved to a house, but the house is literally down the street. So I am still a part of that community. And so you just pray that they can find the person, because that's why the homecoming has been postponed, because they have yet to find the person responsible for it. And then also that, they can be able to move forward and to still find a way to heal and have the opportunity to have their homecoming safely. So we appreciate you for that. My final thought is it's a big weekend in the city, man. Yeah. Speaking of that, the Orioles will be playing in game 2 of the ALDS, the divisional round, and the Ravens play the Steelers, which is a huge game, of course, every single year. The Ravens play at 1:00. The Orioles play at 4:00 on Sunday. Saturday is a mess because the Orioles play at 1:00, but then there's a concert at 7:00 with Stevie Nicks, and it's somebody else that's a big name. I keep wanting to say Bruce Springsteen, but it's not Bruce Springsteen. But either way, it's somebody that's huge, and I just can't remember who.
You had me at Stevie Nicks because that's my girl right there.
Stevie Nicks is hosting, is opening for this person. I don't know why this has definitely passed me because I'm trying to figure out who it's with, and I'm just not able to come up with it at the moment. But anyway, it's gonna be a mess on Saturday because the Orioles play at 1:00. Billy Joel, that's who it is.
Okay.
It's Billy Joel, and Stevie Nicks is opening for Billy Joel. So that's gonna be a shit show. If you are a person that's going to both, good luck to you. If you are anywhere downtown and not attending either one, please find something else to do and go further far away.
Go to the county.
Right. The good thing about Sunday is that the Steelers are the Steelers game is in Pittsburgh, so it doesn't do anything from a traffic perspective. And then the Orioles play at home on Sunday, but it's going to be a great time in the city. And I'm excited to see what my Sunday is going to look like. Hopefully for me, it's going to be 2 wins, one for each bird, and we're going to be celebrating and partying around here. So I am excited about that, and I can't wait to, follow up on the next podcast. So we want to thank you all for listening, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Later.
I think it was at 34 hour and 34.
Okay.